Morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give it another minute or two just to give people time a few more people time to go ahead and log into the session, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started now. My name is Ray Fujioka. I'd like to thank you and welcome you to this webinar for the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department. I will be starting out with just a few slides on some basic housekeeping and things like that. Just to let you know in advance, if you do have questions, do make sure that you use the Q&A function rather than the chat. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. So first off, congratulations on your admission. It really is a big deal. USC is a very competitive school, so the fact that you've been admitted to the program is definitely something to be very proud of. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. There we go. So welcome to the University of Southern California. Uh, let's just go dive right in. So, just a few things about Los Angeles in general. Obviously, for those of you who are familiar with LA, some of the things that are really exciting about it, obviously, one is the weather. We also have an incredibly diverse topography. So there's space to do almost everything from surfing to skiing. And then on the more practical side, there is a huge amount of innovation in industry and tech industry in Los Angeles. We are a global hub for innovation. So the map on the left here basically kind of gives you an idea of just some of the companies that have major presences here, from Hulu and Bird to Amazon, Google, YouTube, Microsoft. Uh, so they all have a presence here in Los Angeles. As far as USC itself goes, we are very centrally located. And to give you an idea, I'm literally a short walk from the campus. Will get you to two of the major museums in Los Angeles, the Natural History Museum and the California Science Center. And I believe either later this year or possibly early next year, there'll be a third museum. The George Lucas Museum of Narrative Art will also be located right across the street from USC. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, where we play football, is also across the street, as is a really nice rose garden. Um, just 50 cents away by bus, you have access to a lot of the things that are downtown. So everything from concerts and other events at LA Live to the Grammy Museum, music at Walt Disney Concert Hall, quite a number of museums, including the Museum of Contemporary Art, and then some of our cultural areas like Chinatown, Little Tokyo, and Olvera Street. And then within 15 miles, you're going to see a lot of things that you're probably familiar with from having seen them on TV and movies. So Santa Monica Pier, Venice Beach, Beverly Hills, Universal Studios, Hollywood, Griffith, and the Griffith Park Observatory are all, as I said, within 15 miles. So to talk about USC a little bit, obviously one of the things that you're really going to be focused on, or the majority of you will be focused on, is what are your career opportunities going to be after you graduate, or even for internships while you're a student? So our Viterbi School of Engineering does have its own career services called Career Connections. And this gives you an idea of just some of the things that are offered through them. So there are 2 career and internship expos. We have networking events with industry professionals. They are the ones that help set up internships for our students, and those can be done for credit, and they are generally paid internships. There are obviously advising and workshops for things like resume writing and interviewing skills. We have specific career resources for our international students as well. And then there's career exploration, which are basically field trips to companies. And this is kind of a little more detailed, just to give you an idea as to just how much is offered in a given year. So, over 155 activities were set up by Career Connections. Our Viterbi students had access to over 19,000 jobs. We had over 203 employers, and bringing 763 recruiters to our 2 career and internship expos. So there's a lot going on through Career Connections. So that's just to give you an idea as to some of the things that you'll have access to as a Viterbi student. If you want to see where your fellow graduates are working, just to give you an idea as to some of the companies and career titles that our recent graduates have access to, we have that on our website. If you go to viterbigradadmission.usc.edu and go to your program, on the left you'll see a series of clickable links. One of them says career outcomes. If you click on that, that's going to give you this information for your specific program. So you can really take a look at, as I said, what companies our students are at and what sort of job titles they have, as well as some basic information on what percentage of people found careers, how many are going to grad school, and things like that. One thing to keep in mind is that this particular survey is a voluntary survey. So this only represents the students that actually filled out that survey. For those of you, especially for those international students that may be coming from another country, we do have a mentorship program, and it is open to all students. So you do not need to be an international student to take advantage of this, but it's designed to help our new graduate students with their journey at USC. Basically becoming familiar with the city, with USC and its culture. If you're from outside of the country, they will, even assist you in, getting used, obviously, to a new country. You are basically paired up with a current Viterbi graduate student. We do try to match students with the same academic department and degree. So if you're a master's student in civil engineering, we will try to find a mentor for you that is also a master's student in civil engineering. It's a great way to get started. It helps set you on the right path. You'll make new friends. It's a great way to expand your network. And in addition to that, they'll help you basically become familiar and to integrate into our Viterbi community. This slide here kind of gives you an idea of some of the things you can do. On the left, you're going to see a phone that says Engage SC. That is an app that was actually designed for Viterbi to help students really find out what's available and how to get involved as a Viterbi student. Additional involvement obviously includes campus activities even outside of Viterbi. There are mixers and networking events, obviously our football games and our tailgates. There are campus-wide hackathons, wellness events. There are, I believe, over 1,000 student clubs overall. And then there's a subset of graduate student clubs as well. A great way to get involved is actually our Viterbi Graduate Student Association, who also helps organize events for our graduate students. So all of you have been admitted. Hopefully some of you have already accepted your admission to USC. But if you have not, just something to keep in mind. There are advantages to accepting your admission as soon as you know you're definitely coming to USC. It gives you access to pre-orientation resources. It allows you to join the mentorship program. You'll have the ability to connect with your department through academic webinars like this one, but there will be others, more orientation sets. You'll be able to explore housing options and enter the housing lottery if you definitely want to live in USC owned housing. For international students, um, the minute you accept your admission, well, actually, it's within 24 hours of when you accept your admission, you'll be able to request your I-20 and initiate the visa process. So even if you don't do it early, obviously, a lot of you want to know, well, what is the deadline for accepting your admission? It can vary depending on when you're admitted. So the best thing to do is check your statement of intent. That will actually show you your specific deadline for submitting the statement of intent and the commitment deposit, which is $1,000. Once you've done that, you'll be able to submit, if you're an international student, you'll be able to submit your financial documentation. Really important. USC has a somewhat new process for this. There is a website called Trojan International, and that's where you're going to submit all of your financial documentations. Do not submit it to the academic department. Don't submit it to us. Make sure you submit it through the Trojan International system. Other next steps. Join additional webinars. There are also student coffee chats. We have a virtual tour of campus posted. If you have a chance, you can start exploring student organizations to see what you might be interested in. We also have a lot of online resources touring about student safety, what sort of wellness resources we have available, and things like that. If you click on the QR code on the right, it'll take you to links that will get you to that information. Another resource that we have is you do have the ability to actually chat directly with some of our graduate student ambassadors. And we do have some that are actually in civil engineering. So you can talk with students that are actually in, if not the specific specialization, but at least master's students within civil engineering. And there are over 25 current students. Even if you can't find someone with the exact degree that you're going to be in, it's worth reaching out to them because they can provide you with a lot of great generic information as well. And finally, if you have questions specifically for us, you are welcome to reach out to us. The QR code will take us to our contact form, and we're happy to meet with you. You can also request, Zoom meetings or phone calls and things like that as well. So let me stop the share now. And at this point, I am going to turn the presentation over to Professor Roxana Javid of the Civil Engineering Department.
All right. I think I start sharing my screen and ready. Good. To the presenter view. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, thank you, Ray, for the introduction, and hello, everyone. My name is Roxana Javid. I am a faculty of Civil and Environmental Engineering, and I'm also serving as the director of the Master's Transportation Program in our department. And I join our team here today to welcome you all and to give an introduction of our department and also help with any question that you may have here. All right, let's move forward. Hold on, I'm sharing my screen here. I think that's much easier. Just give me 1 second. There you go. So I have the next slide here. I have my our department leadership that is our department chair. There's a lag. There you go. Our department chair, Dr. Buchimba Gerber, and Dr. Felipe de Barros is our department director of graduate programs. And under their leadership, we define our goals and different visions. As you may know, like civil engineering covers wide range of topics. So we come up with our like 5 different areas of vision, which are disaster resilience, extreme habitat, urban livability, environmental stewardship, and transport service systems. And these are not only wide enough to kind of cover all the hold on, I receive. Do you see the right slide? I'm sorry, I see the leadership slide on my screen. Can you confirm that you're?
Yes, it's the leadership slide.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, so I just want to make sure I'm not sharing a different slide here. So not only cover the aspects, like critical aspects that are going around us and there needs to be research or a study, but also create a lot of opportunity for collaboration and interdisciplinary research and cooperation here. To cover those, we also cover our academic backgrounds to prepare our students. Here we have our department breakdown in terms of student and faculty. As you can see, we have a relatively large department. On the pie on the right side shows the distribution of our faculty. We have almost 29 tenure track faculty, and then followed by our part-time and adjunct, which are as a large portion of faculty, and then our full-time teaching faculty. Our tenure track faculty are the one responsible to run the research and initiatives in research in our department. And then our part-time and adjunct faculty are the one our professional industry leaders, and they're one that provide connection and network with our industry to help our student, connect better. And then also they bring insight from whatever is happening in industry and hot topics, and then they bring it to our curriculum and then share it with our department and student. And then we also have full-time teaching faculty who are responsible for curriculum development and exclusively new teaching methods and styles. And then on the pie on the left-hand side shows our student population. And as you can see, we have a little bit more than 200 master's students, PhD, 70 PhD student, and 180 student. And as you can see, the largest portion of our students are our master's students. So it's a great combination of undergrad and grad student in our department. who are working closely to advance research and education. Our graduate programs in the department vary in terms of track and subjects that they cover. We do have our general civil engineering program and our structural engineering, construction engineering program, emerging technology in construction, and transportation engineering program. They all require 28 units. And if you go online and see their curriculum, you'll see how they all have different set of core courses and set of electives that you can choose in between depending on your interest. And then we do offer Master's in Environmental Engineering program, which also requires 28 units, Master in Sustainable Engineering program, 28 units, Emerging Transportation System program, 32 units, and Masters of Construction Management program, also 32 units. The one highlighted in red are the one that you can also join as a distance education network, or DEN. They are online and also in person. So you do have the online option if you are part of that program. And they're mostly a lot of them are recently revised based on the feedback that we received from our industry advisory board, who gives us insight about the trending topic, so we can make sure that our curriculum is up to date and our students are graduating with the tools that they require to start working in industry or research part after graduation. Depending on how many units you take, they usually last 3 to 4 semesters. And then the full-time enrollment is 8 units. And if you take 2-unit or 4-unit classes, you may have different number of courses to cover the 8 unit per semester. We do offer summer classes if you are interested to take. So some of the programs you can, if you want to graduate in 3 semesters or 4 semesters, you can choose, talk to your advisor and choose how you want to plan your, semesters along the way. And I would say in terms of career, which probably is the most important part that you are looking for, we have, as Ray said, we have a survey for our civil engineering student to identify how they ended up in industry, and the salary range is listed there. So our bachelors are getting somewhere between 70 to 85K, master's students 74 to 111K, and then our PhD student, depending on if they go to industry track or academy, they earn somewhere between 62 to 220K per year. And those are based on the most recent survey for 2024 graduation. And as you know, California is listed number 1 state, top state for paying for civil engineering, and number 2 for environmental engineers. Los Angeles itself is a number 2 metropolitan area that has the highest employment level for civil and environmental engineering. And also, that we do have a lot of future events like FIFA World Cup and Olympic 2028 in LA, which creates a lot of jobs and opportunities currently. So by the time that you start and finish your degree here, you'll be ready there for the job market, which is booming these days. And we also have a lot of opportunities in the area. We do have Port of LA and Port of Long Beach. We have lots of airports in the region, LAX is one of the largest airports. We do have initiative about high-speed rails, which involves a lot of environmental studies and transportation planning, construction, and management and stuff. So those also brings a lot of job opportunities to the region. A very unique, I would say, combination of everything here. And that's probably that's why we kind of is we are kind of offering a good opportunity for our master's student to start learning and also join the job market here. Here is a screenshot of a very I would say it's not a comprehensive list, of course, but common companies hire our student. The ranges between private and public and consulting, like construction, environmental groups, and like most of them are international or local. So these are great opportunity that our alumni are working. To wrap it up, I would say, like, as Ray explained, Trojan Network, you probably heard, it's like one of a kind, and it's not like any other network. And in addition to that, our civil engineering department is it's not like academic, it's like just the academic program. It's a close-knit community of faculty, staff, and student who support each other like a family, really. And we do have a lot of special events like networking opportunities and professional networking, social gatherings, and research symposiums, competitions that can like be interesting for you. And we have like everything that you look, we kind of offer some kind of support depending on your background or interest. You can find a support, and I would say it's a very inclusive and welcoming environment. Our student clubs are very active. You can like search and join. We do have our CMAA student club, our IT chapter. They do offer a lot of good, like, field trips, speaker series, connection, alumni night, and stuff like that. So feel free to reach out, and if you need a specific, if you're interested or if you need specific direction, there should be a direction for you, a help for you, a support for you. And I'll be happy to take any question if specifically you have about the programs or the department. And if any other team member would like to add anything to the presentation. Thank you all.
Professor, can you stop sharing your screen if you're done?
Yes, I'm done right here. Okay. So I mute myself and let me know if.
Nice. So at this point, we can move on to the next part, which is basically I'm going to turn it over to Christine and Emily, the two primary advisors for the civil engineering program. Christine and Emily.
Sorry for the delay there. Can you hear me? Okay, right?
I can hear you.
Great. All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Christine. I'm part of the graduate advisement team in the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department. We also have Emily. I'll let Emily introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Millard. I'm one of the graduate advisors in the Civil and Environmental Engineering Department as well. And I think for the remaining section of this, I believe that we are open to answering questions and concerns that you may have regarding the opportunity to join our program. And so I believe the process, if you have a question, is to submit your question through the Q&A, and we're more than happy to address them. And we also have, I believe, students here that can answer some of the student perspective questions regarding student life here on campus. Yeah, I think there's a very common question in the Q&A about when you would expect to hear from your advisor regarding registering for classes and getting ready. I know that there are students that have started to certify, and so I completely understand the enthusiasm and the excitement and share that excitement with you with regards to starting your journey here and your experience here at USC. If you have certed, please know that orientation won't happen until June. And so at this time, you have the opportunity to figure out the life pieces, figuring out where you're going to live and things like that. But advisors will reach out, and our first point of contact will be orientation in June. And so we ask that you sit tight during this time. We are currently working with our current student population, but we will be ready to support you starting at orientation.
And also just to add to that, I will assure folks that at the graduate level, we're planning for you at the undergrad level too. But I just want to be clear. I know that for those of you coming from undergrad, sometimes it feels like Hunger Games of trying to get your class. You will be okay. The grand majority of our students register in August when they are actually physically on campus, and we're prepared. We're ready for you. You'll have the classes that you need to get to stay on track.
There is a question in here that I think we can answer, but I also think Alan here, who's a student, can also speak a little bit on his experience. But there is a question about what class schedules look like and when classes are taught, whether that's in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night, and whether or not classes are online. And so for the online piece, if you are a Dunn at Viterbi student, a Dunn student, you have that option of attending courses remotely through our Dunn at Viterbi system. But if you are an on-campus student, the expectation is that you attend classes on campus. For a lot of international students, this is required for your visa, so you aren't eligible to take classes online. But classes are offered morning, afternoon, and night. They vary depending on the class, and I don't know if Alan wants to add his personal experience in terms of what his classes have looked like and how that schedule ends up being.
Yep, sure, Emily. In my experience, like I have taken the majority of my classes in the afternoon, late afternoon. So it's been pretty, I guess, flexible in terms of I can plan whatever my day, whatever I want my day to look like, and then accommodate the classes at 6 p.m. or even some later at 7 p.m. And also, yeah, like as an international student, I had to attend all of my classes in person. But some of them, those that are also offered for DAN students, professors would usually make the recordings available for students after, like you cannot join the live class session, but those recordings will some of the times be available for you. And those are pretty handy when you're studying or whenever you want to go back to something the professor said. I had found that tool really helpful.
There is a question about whether or not it's possible to complete a degree in 1 year. And so I will answer that. Our programs are intended for 3 to 4 semesters. And so no, you cannot complete the MSCE degree in emerging tech in 1 year. And I think that students will find that the program is set up to give you enough time to connect and build your network and learn in your courses, but that also gives you a summer to seek out internship opportunities and learn about the opportunities within the USC Trojan Network. And so no programs in our Civil and Environmental Engineering department are intended to be completed within 1 year. Okay, it looks like the last 2 questions here are in regards to specific students that have applied for the Asani Scholars Program. For the students that have applied and are waiting to hear back, you should hear back in August, or not in August, in April at the latest. And so you will be notified of a decision whether or not you receive an offer or not, so that you will be able to make a decision regarding your admissions and your acceptance into the program here in CEE.
I'll jump in here for just a moment. I noticed that one of them asked about other scholarships as well. Viterbi does have a certain number of partial merit-based scholarships. I do know that for fall of 2025, the first round of those being actively considered for scholarships have been made. Students that are part of that consideration will have already received an email to submit a CURA interview. So if you have not received that, it means you're not part of the first group of people being considered for scholarships. However, depending on how that goes, there may well be additional rounds of consideration.
There's an additional question that perhaps the FACE team can assist with regarding eligibility for scholarships.
Yes. As basically, I have someone asking whether they applied before December 15th, am I automatically eligible for the scholarship? So for Viterbi scholarships, yes, that is actually the only eligibility requirement, is that you did submit your application by the December 15 deadline. So everyone that submitted their application by then is automatically part of the pool of students being considered for scholarships. So as I mentioned earlier, if you have not yet received an email inviting you to submit a CURA interview, it means that unfortunately you are not part of the first group being considered for scholarships. So it looks at the moment we don't have any additional students. We'll go ahead and give it a little bit of time for anyone that might be typing a question. Do keep in mind this is a great opportunity for you to get responses from faculty, staff, and graduate students of the civil engineering department. So I urge you to take advantage of that if you do have any questions. Well, we'll give it another minute or so for any additional questions.
While we're waiting for questions, Alan, I realized that we didn't have you do a formal introduction. And so if you don't mind doing an introduction and perhaps just sharing a little bit about your experience through your program.
Yeah, sure, Emily. Well, I come from Monterrey, Mexico. I started my master's degree. I'm doing the master's degree in what is now called the Emerging Construction Technologies program. It used to have a different name when I started, but basically the same program. And I'm on my last semester, currently doing taking my last course. And overall, it's been a great experience. Right now, I'm also I was able to get an internship at Walt Disney Imagineering, which I'm currently doing at the same time I take the last class in my program. And yeah, the experience overall has been great. I think Viterbi has a lot of resources for you to get whatever you need or whatever you're seeking from the university and the program. They help me get connected with different companies, and they help me be able to network with professionals, and eventually that's what helped me get the internship I'm currently doing. What else? Yeah, I think I would strongly advise everyone to take advantage of all of the resources that the school and the civil engineering department as well offers.
Emily, I'm just going to jump in. I do see there's a question about like knowing more about classes. And I do think that if people want to connect later on LinkedIn or whatnot, that's fine. But I think, Alan, if you wouldn't mind, there is a question about, knowing more about the classes and different things like that. Can you speak a little bit more about your experience in the classroom or the courses that you've taken, things like that? And then Cal, if there's something more specific, I think this is a great venue to ask those questions. I think a lot of people would benefit from that. Hearing an answer.
Yeah, for sure. Regarding the classes I've taken, 2 of them were actually with the director of my program, which I thought was great. And in my experience, professors have always been super helpful and extremely open to having conversations with students. It's not been the case where, in some schools you would struggle to get a time to chat with directly with professors and stuff. Here, every single professor I've had a class with, as I said, they've been extremely helpful and extremely open, and I don't know, providing a lot of time for you to go to office hours and just have a good conversation of whatever your interests are or whatever your questions are. Also regarding research, I was, during the initial time of my master's, I was really interested in pursuing some research. So I joined one of the research labs just for a semester, but still, even as a master's student, even though you're not like strictly required to do research, that's something you can easily do, and you just have to reach out to the professors or reach out to the PhD students that are doing the research you're interested in, and they'll connect you with whoever's necessary or whoever's running the research you're interested in. I found that to be extremely helpful and beneficial. And also regarding that classes I took, some of them, like I kind of had like a wide variety of class sizes in the courses I took. Some of them were like with a lot of people, others were like more towards the, I don't know, 10 to 20 students per room, which was also really good because it gave you a chance to network and connect with other students like on a more personal setting, and you would get like more attention from the professor in those small classroom settings.
Emily, I see I have a question that I'm going to read off, and maybe you'd like to answer the question. I know you and I discuss this often. The question is it possible to take classes which are unrelated to your program for knowledge sake? And so Emily.
Yeah, so a master's program is significantly different from an undergraduate program, right? And so in your undergraduate program, you might have had some of that flexibility to take pottery for fun or surfing or something completely unrelated to the degree that you're pursuing. But a master's program is significantly shorter, both in the length of time and the units, and they are really focused on you getting a lot of depth and an understanding in your field. And so we cannot stress this enough as advisors, even for our current students, that you are to take classes that are strictly within your program. So if you deviate from those classes, not only do these classes not count towards full-time enrollment status for our international population, but you end up paying for classes on top of the requirements for your degree, and they won't apply to your degree in any way. And so if you have interests, in surfing or pottery or things that are completely unrelated to your degree, I encourage you to seek out opportunities to engage in those activities through clubs and organizations on campus with students. But taking those classes that are completely unrelated to your degree is not allowed. We expect our students to follow our program as outlined. And so we will remind you of that every semester. But yes, our students should not be taking courses that are not within their program.
I will say, occasionally in the last semester, you might find that you're done with all your classes but one, and maybe that's a point where we can discuss. But again, that's not, you really should be, you're going to be taking the classes that are outlined on your degree program, right? So, and I think, we have a current student here. I think Alan would agree that, I think a big shift in graduate studies is that from undergrad, you're taking 18 units a semester, at least at USC you are, and taking 8 units, I think is deceptive. I think students think they have a lot of free time. 8 units as a graduate student is going to keep you pretty busy, but Alan, do you want to speak to that experience about those 8 units?
Yeah, no, I'm having 4 units right now and I'm struggling. It's definitely I would say like a tougher level taking graduate classes, but also the fact that you're mixing it with applying for jobs or applying for internships, or maybe like in my case right now, mixing it with a part-time internship. It definitely takes more time than you would initially imagine. And then also, like, I wanted to add to the question about the courses. I think that was a different question about the unrelated courses, but also I just wanted to add that for electives, something that I found to be like really good was that you can actually take classes from other departments or even other schools if you actually justify and talk to your program director about it, and he or she agrees to it. And what I mean by this is I'm currently, the class that I'm taking is actually from data science, machine learning for data scientists, and I was able to like justify taking this class just by showing how it could be related to my program of emerging construction technologies and what I wanted to do with the knowledge I got from that course. So again, like maybe not directly the question that was asked, but I did think it was good to talk about how you can have electives even from other departments or schools.
Yeah, I will say on that, and we'll unpack this more for those of you who come to USC about electives, but I want to be crystal clear that I think the confusing part about using the word elective, and this is Alan, that's fine for you, but I just mean when our incoming students, when they sometimes hear elective, they think that means they can do whatever they want. But there's already a preset list of approved courses for each program. Some programs have electives, so Alan's does, others don't. Like, it's very clear what you're doing. And so if there's ever a question of what you can take, certainly you want to start that conversation with Emily, me, and there's also Maral and Geraldine on our team as well. If it's anything is unclear, but you can never be faulted by, or actually what you should be doing is following what is prescribed already. And you'll see like Alan's degree program is already pretty diverse in terms of coursework selection. There are already courses outside of the civil and engineering department that are represented in the elective options. And it sounds like, he went through a process to discuss an additional course that could be considered, but that's all a process. You should be following the courses that are outlined. And if there's ever a question about that, come talk to your advisor and we can walk you through. But I think USC does certainly pride itself on the fact that the curriculum has been thoughtfully put together. And when cross-disciplinary, coursework is available, it's there. And then I think even the courses that live within our department, we have a lot of computational courses and courses that speak to the fact that our students, and it's not what always people think about civil and environmental, are taking a lot of advanced computing type courses as well. And so you'll see that even within our suite of courses, you'll see different, a different topic than you were expecting from civil and environmental. So Emily, there's another question about electives being flexible. And I just want to say, so great question, Arian. I'm gonna let Emily kind of wrap up the thing, but you need to be taking the classes that are outlined on your approved coursework. Mixing and matching doesn't always work. It's not, I want to assure you that the curriculum has been thoughtfully reviewed by the faculty to make sure that that degree program and what that diploma that you'll be getting it has the right courses. And to even get a degree approved, we have to go through a whole back end admin process where we get the Viterbi School of Engineering and the university to approve that degree. So deviations can be tricky, right? And so that's why I think Emily and I are really going, trying to be crystal clear that you're going to be taking the courses that are outlined. And if there's a question down the road, happy to discuss if you're confused, but that's you're going to be taking the courses that are outlined on your program page. Emily, anything else to add?
Yeah, I'll just add a couple of things for some of the students that are in here. You may have applied to multiple programs within our department, and I encourage you to take a look at the curriculum for those programs, right? Be thoughtful about what you're hoping to gain, and look at what curriculum you think most interest and most applies to the career that you're hoping to have, and choose that, right? So like if you come in one program and you're like, I want to take all of these electives in this other program, then perhaps your actual interests actually lie in that other program, and that's the program that you should proceed with pursuing, right? And so I would just encourage those of you that are considering and have applied and perhaps been admitted to multiple programs, be thoughtful about the program that you're going to certify and pursue. And how that curriculum relates, right? All of the information regarding our programs are available on online, and you can review that information. And so you won't be surprised when you join our program about the curriculum and expectations for you. I will also say, as Christine and Alan has shared, there are programs with some flexibility, but I will tell you that in your first semester, the advisement team, so Christine, Moral, Geraldine, and I provide you with a list of courses to start out your first semester. That is intentionally done based on knowing the schedule of when courses are offered, and under the direction of some faculty that have already indicated that these are courses that need to be prioritized first and will be useful to your classes after in the program. And so your first semester is already laid out for you. And so for those of you that are already had questions about, registering for classes, know that we've set aside those courses and know that there's going to be seats in those, and those are the classes that you're going to take. And during your academic journey, you will meet with us during our mandatory group advisement once a semester to help you prepare for registration in the next semester. And so I know that there are a lot of questions, and sometimes students want all of those answers now. I ask you to trust our process, and so we will provide you with that information to help guide you through your program.
Thank you very much, Emily, and many thanks to the entire civil engineering team, Alan, Christine, Roxana. Also, a couple of our team members, Paula and Maria, have been helping answer questions. If hopefully we answered all the questions. If you do have additional questions, or if something didn't get answered, please feel free to reach out to us via email. We're happy to respond that way as well. Doesn't look like we have any additional questions, so thank you very much for joining us. I hope all of you found this useful. So have a great rest of your day, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.